On today's show, we're joined by one of our favorite recurring guests. It's Senators prospect Angus Crookshank.
Crooker tells us all about Belleville Senators' playoff run, his offseason, and preparing for a huge upcoming training camp.
If that didn't sell you, how about a Alfie coaching story? That's all coming up on today's Locked On Sens.
I'm Jake Sanderson.
I'm Tim Stützle, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
You're Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators, the only daily podcast covering the Sens. On the outskirts of enemy territory, I'm Ross Levitan, alongside Brandon Piller up in the Blue Mountains. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. You can also follow the show on social media. We're at Sens Central on Twitter, LockedOn.Senators on Instagram. You can find us everywhere you get podcasts, free and available on YouTube. Today is Monday, August 26th, and Pilsy, nothing depicts a late August conversation like the logo at center ice. The Senators have enlarged theirs. They've cut off the cape. Your thoughts when you saw that on social media on Saturday?
Yeah, it's a zoomed in version of the logo. I think it looks sharp. And there's like a handful of other teams, Ross, that are doing similar things where it's just their logo, but zoomed in. So there's no kind of white space. And you don't necessarily see the whole logo, but I mean, you can pretty obviously tell whose logo it is. But I think it's cool. It's a nice switch rather than just the smaller version of that 2D logo in center ice. And from what I've seen, it's pretty much liked by almost all Sens fans. I think there's a handful of people that don't like it so close because you don't get to see the whole thing, but I think it looks sharp. And honestly, Ross, it's nice that they're doing something different. That's you want to see them trying things, and that I love the videos of them putting that down. It's so satisfying seeing the lines being painted, the smoothness of it all. So once again, short, 30-second video, Ross, but it was very satisfying and Sens fans loved it.
Believe it was 34 seconds, Pilsy. We're moving our way up from the 22-second hype video, that the Ottawa Senators were able to put out last week. They also have continued their Friday home visits, which has been awesome. They did Jake Sanderson this past weekend. Before that, it was Drake Batherson and Shane Pinto. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the tweet pulled up. I wanted to see what it looked like with the laurels and the gold outline all the way around. The red kind of makes it a bit different. Now, some people noting the black and will that lose the puck? Go look at Los Angeles. Their entire circle basically is black. And I think this was before the ice was laid down. So this is right when the paint's done. So there's already a layer there. The Senators actually used to have a pretty big logo at center ice. Okay, I'm getting carried away. This is too much talk about a logo, but Pilsy, over 500,000 views on this tweet. It's our most viewed tweet all summer. And it's the painted center ice logo. Hilarious. It is late August, but we're just 2 weekends away now from the Sens rookie tournament. So we're almost there, buddy. We're almost there.
Yeah, we're getting there, but hey, it's still exciting news. And it brings us closer to action. So we'll take
That's just the thing, right? Last week, that 22-second hype video that we keep bringing up, the players were on where the ice would be at CTC, but they had nowhere to skate. They'd have to go over to the Sensplex. So now the ice is in. Now the boys are ready to get to work. Okay, we're ready to get to work with our blue-collar guest, Angus Crookshank.
Yep.
Just an absolute beauty. You already know him from this show and from really making an impact last year with the Ottawa Senators in an energy, third, fourth line, bottom six type role. He even got a cup of coffee with Claude Giroux and Tim Stützle where he scored from the Rockstar zone. Pilsy, great to see Crooker, and he's doing great, ready to get going for this season.
Oh, yeah. Crooker's one of our all-time favorites. # friend of the show. He's been on how many times, Ross? Was this number 6?
6, but 7 for the family because we had his brother on after his NHL debut.
Yeah, absolutely. So just an all-time guy, one of our favorite guys to have on the show. He always gets into deep detail about what's going on. He doesn't really have his media training guards up with us, so we always love having him on the show. Hope you guys enjoy.
Now let's get to our conversation with Angus Crookshank.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook. It's the official online sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network. And we got something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd, so you got time, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with the YouTube TV base plan, you're going to be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account, a current form of payment, and you can cancel any time. Ross, I know you're going to be fired up about this, a new Chicago Bears fan. Hopefully that doesn't bleed into being a Chicago Blackhawks fan, but I know you got to be excited about this, buddy. You got your future bets in on the Bears yet at FanDuel or what?
Yeah, I'm all over the Caleb Williams train, of course. And the Bears have never had 4,000-yard rush or thrower.
Passer. Yeah.
Only team in NFL to not have that. So I'm over that with Caleb Williams.
And you can hop on that train too if you want, or you can join me and my Bengals in the NFL season. But you got to do it on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to download America's #1 sportsbook.
Today's episode is also brought to you by the GLEBE Central Pub. You make your bets? Well, you want to watch the game? Well, how about heading down to the GLEBE Central Pub right in the heart of the Glebe at 779 Bank Street? Let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. It's great vibes. It's great people. It's great food and awesome drinks. What more could you ask for? How about some organized events? Yes, there's always something going on at the GCP. You can follow them on social media to find out what's coming up next at the Glebe Central Pub. We know that every Saturday is live music at the Glebe Central Pub. They've got their soup and sandwich special till 4 p.m. on weekdays if you want to grab a quick lunch. They've got Trivia Tuesday. They've got Wing Night on Monday for 75 cents per wing all day Monday. And how about Taco Thursday? $5 each at the Glebe Central Pub. You can even get into open mic night every Wednesday at 8:30. There's always something going on at the GCP where the vibes are free. So why don't you head down to 779 Bank Street? Let them know that Locked On Senators sent you, the Glebe Central Pub. All right, we now welcome one of our favorite guests back to Locked On Senators. It's AHL All-Star, NHL regular towards the end of the season. It's Angus Crookshank. What's going on, brother? How's your summer going?
It's been good, boys. Appreciate you making the time for me to have me on.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning for you, man. We appreciate you. You're up, you're grinding. What's a day in the life of Crooker's summer?
Well, I guess today we got a field session at 8:15, and then I gotta go to a skate over town, and then I gotta stay in my half gear and drive to another skate right after that. So that's kind of the day today. Normally if I only have one skate, I'll mix in like kind of a road bike ride as well to kind of get the legs a little extra work. But other than that, that's pretty standard.
That's solid. Now, do you have a good crew of guys you're working out in the off season with?
Yeah, we got a really good group. Everybody kind of does their own thing workout wise. I've been working with the same trainer since I was, 14 or something like that. So
Nice.
For me, it's kind of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
I like what he does. Makes me in good shape. All that stuff. Our skating group is much more consistent. Like we got like Jake Christensen off of Cleveland, Kent Johnson, Columbus, Connor
Nice.
Bedard, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Dan Heinen, Jujar Kara, like a bunch of kind of really, really, really good pros that take it seriously. They aren't out there for kind of a cakewalk. Everybody's competing, which is nice.
Oh, you're muted, Ross.
I've heard it's a little Sunday church, you call it out west, where you
so
get the pucks out.
That's Sunday threes, and that's a hard league to kind of get into. Thankfully, I'm a founding member.
Nice.
Okay.
Of the church. We got 7 founding members, so like every week we're in it, but we have a rotating list of guys. So normally we go five guys each team with a goalie. And like this past weekend, we were on the ice for just over 2 hours playing best of 7. It was just like, like you lock it down pretty good. Like we've been so used to kind of wedging it up or playing a bit of a triangle and just keeping everybody to the outside and make them have to make a sick play through you to kind of get it going. But no, sticks get broken. It's pretty, it gets pretty heated.
All right, well, it's bound to get competitive whenever you get a group of guys like that together, and especially consistently. You mentioned you've been doing some road biking as well. I know you're a big surf guy. You get up to much surfing this off season as well?
I wasn't able to. It's been this past year it didn't really work out. Like I have with the season kind of ending a bit later this past year. Just timing didn't work out because when you go to Tofino, once you kind of get into July and August, it becomes very very elitist over there, and you don't really like the prices are are pretty ridiculous if I'm going to be honest. So we normally try to stick to June, but just with everything that kind of went on with the end of the season, and to be honest, I needed some time to myself just to recover from everything. I'm sure as you guys know, I was nursing a couple things down the stretch, so I just wanted everything to just chill out for a few weeks, which was nice.
Pills, it doesn't say surf on his shirt. It says hockey, all right? Get it together. This kid's here for one reason. He's here to play puck, all right? Put it in the net. How many times are you skating a week, man? If you're doing 2-a-days, it's got to be quite the number.
2 days are normally only happens like once or twice a week. Probably skating anywhere from 6 to 9 times a week.
Whew. Jesus. So you're rocking and rolling, and you had a busy season. You talk about nursing a few things, but you're also still able to get into 50 games in Belleville, 13 more in the NHL with Ottawa, and then we're able to battle back. We'll get into the injury you suffered in Minnesota, but to be able to get in to that Belleville Sens playoff run, what did it mean to you as a guy who started playing in front of no crowds in the AHL in the COVID season to build what you guys did as a group and ultimately get to win that series against the Marlies and have a little bit of an extended run? What'd that mean to the group and yourself individually?
Oh, it was awesome. I think for everybody that had been there for a couple of years, it was like we've been on the edge so many times to getting into the playoffs where it's like, okay, like when is it going to be our time to actually like get a bounce for once and get in? Like last year we were right there, and then Laval decided to go 9-1 in their last 10 games, and it's like, okay, like it's not much you can compete. You can't really do much to compete with that, and it just didn't work out for us. But obviously this year, like that was kind of the reason I wanted to hurry back as best I can, because I wanted to be there with the boys for this moment. Obviously it didn't end the way that we wanted to, but I think that series against the Marlies was a big series for our group, like kind of our guys that are returning, like our confidence, knowing that we're more than good enough to compete in this league. And then also kind of in that Cleveland series, like, it's tough to win a series when the goalie has a .940 save percentage over the playoffs. If you watch the rest of the playoffs, Czech Reeves was incredible. So, tip your cap to him. That's not the only reason they won. They had a great team to begin with, but it certainly helps when your goaltender is going to be stopping 95% of the pucks being thrown at him. But I think it's just a lot of confidence, and we kind of really understood the support that the community has for us over that stretch as well. If you guys saw the pictures, it was Pillsy, you were there. It was incredible.
Yeah.
It was incredibly atmosphere. So hopefully we can kind of repeat that and kind of see where things go from there.
Yeah, it was an absolute blast for myself and the rest of the fans in Belleville. So we were stoked with any playoff action we could get. Ross is getting some sort of prop here, I assume. But what? There we go. Yes,
love it.
The Reds are sharp, man. Little sharp. You're a red guy overall? What's the top jersey in Belleville?
I'm red all day long.
Yeah,
I think the Reds are nasty.
Yeah, I got the red Igor, so I'm glad
a couple OGs
got that in time. Yep. Now, obviously, it was tough when you get that injury at the end of the season playing in the NHL, but you wanted to get back. You had an opportunity to get back with Belleville in the playoffs. Were you close to 100%, or were you still battling through your injury when you came back with Belleville?
I don't know.
It's summer, buddy. You can tell us. You can not tell us.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, I was close enough where I could play.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll just put it that way. It was funny though. I had 2 knee braces on. Obviously, I have the one for my ACL knee, which I'll always wear. It's just kind of part of me now.
Right.
But I had this kind of other brace for my other knee, and it was funny. The boys were calling me like Forrest Gump with the knee braces and everything, which was pretty funny.
Well, you're a
but
blue
yeah.
collar player, right? Everybody knows it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, exactly. Everyone knows me as a blue collar guy.
Yeah, Mads is telling us about that one.
Yeah, that's a source of controversy around the room. Just like my height. Guys would bet on the fact that I'm actually not 5'10" and a half.
No, they
that
think
guys
you're
are-
single digit.
They think I'm like 5'8".
Oh,
Well, I mean, there's an easy way to settle it. Why hasn't anyone got the measuring tape out?
Well, the thing is, we do it with the tape measure every time. And it's like it's the same answer every time.
Someone just is accusing you of having a loaded tape measure. Like it starts
Yeah, I
at
guess
like
so.
2 inches so that you get yourself a little boost there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Put some toilet paper in his shoes.
Yeah.
I march down to the equipment. I get the equipment manager's room and get the loaded tape measure.
Man, sound like you had a fun group down there, eh? Like a
Oh, it's a
lot
ton
of
of
guys
fun.
who just, a circus in a sense in the room, I bet.
Yeah, it makes days in the American League a lot better. It's kind of you hit that after Christmas kind of January, February grind where it gets dark super early, days are short, all that stuff, and some days it's tough to wake up to go to the rink sometimes. Sometimes you like to lay in bed all day. But knowing that you have a group like that, everybody's pulling the rope together. There's no individual agendas. There's no egos. Everybody just kind of gets in there. Everybody knows it's time to work. Then afterwards, you just shoot it with the boys, and it's just a great time.
It's awesome, man. Well, we know the goal is to make the NHL, and you're able to do that. We spoke with you last season during the AHL All-Star right after you got back from that in California. So you'd already played your first NHL game in Vegas of all places. So people can go check out that interview for your thoughts on kind of making that initial jump to the NHL. But what did you learn that second stint where it's like, okay, like it's an everyday league? What was the learning process throughout your 13 games?
Yeah, I kind of talked to my parents about that. Like that first call up it's a reward really, for kind of, I don't know, I thought I was playing some good hockey in the American League. And I get the opportunity, but and then by all means, I don't mean this as a complaint or anything. Like I'm playing on the fourth line, kind of lower minutes, that sort of stuff. And I am more than grateful with that. I don't take that as though I'm complaining about it. And whereas the second one is more the opportunity, whereas I got to play a few more minutes. Like my first game, I got to play with G and Timmy. Like I've had G's jersey hanging on my wall since I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So we rolled into New Jersey, and I look at the roster board, and it's like, sorry, I'm pinching myself. Like, is this legit? Like, is this a typo? Like, what's going on here? So yeah, I don't know. I thought I was able to kind of play a little more my style of game in that second call up. And therefore I think I kind of got a little more comfortable is the wrong word, because I don't know, there shouldn't really be a day where you are comfortable unless you're making that $10 million a year kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I kind of felt more, I don't know, at ease in the sense that, okay, I know I can play in this league, and I know I can make a difference in this league. So, and kind of in turn, you get a little more confidence from that.
Now, leading up to that game, when you see yourself on the line with G and Timmy, was there a conversation between you and the two of them? Did they tell you like, hey, Timmy's just like, feed me the puck, or you're going back down to Belleville and Claude is giving you instructions? Or what was the dialogue there when you see yourself elevated on the lineup?
They were super supportive. Nice. They kind of know it was I'm sure they knew it was a big deal for me. So it was cool to see their support and just kind of help me along. They weren't demanding by any means. It was more just, okay, like, this is where, like, Timmy was talking, okay, this is where I need you to be when I'm in this certain situation. I'm like, okay, like, all right, perfect, I can do that. And G kind of helped me out on like face-offs, assignments, all that sort of stuff, and just kind of realizing a certain situation that we may be in, or a certain line that we're out against, and kind of what to do against those guys. So it was really cool to kind of learn and just pick things up off of those two. I mean, they're two of the best players in the world, and the fact that they were my line mates was pretty damn cool.
Well, you made the most of it, scoring in that game. And I'm just wondering if in the group hug afterwards, you told Timmy, hey, this could have been up at us at New Hampshire, man.
Yeah, well, it was funny. I don't know. I'm sure I've told you guys this, but we were supposed to be line mates if he came to UNH.
Oh, man.
Well, I think that what I remember is your coach telling you, like, hey, next year, stick around. Like, we got this German kid coming. He's going to be the real deal.
Yeah, like, he showed me the lineup kind of board that he had in his room, and it had me, Timmy, and a senior, Patrick Grasso, on the same line. It was like, oh, damn. And now that I see him in the NHL, it's like, damn, what could have been, man.
Yeah.
Man. Hey, well, you chased down that line spot, man. That's awesome. I love that story.
I guess I chased it down. For a few
No doubt. So are they telling you, hey, hit the Rockstar Zone, we'll find you?
To be honest, that was just a field play. I saw it. We kind of had some numbers coming up, and Shabby and I were along the same lane. So I don't know, I just kind of decided to pop and find some open ice, and I don't know, I just thought, why not give this thing a whack? And it was kind of, if you guys play golf, it's like one of those shots where you hit it right out the middle of the face and you don't even feel it. Yep. The same thing happens in hockey all the time. You're like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. Like, those shots, you always kind of find a way to go in. And yeah, I mean, thankfully it went in, but it just was so satisfying hitting that one tee.
That was the game-winning goal. Hey, there against New Jersey, making it 3-2 in a 5-2 win. So we love to see that. It also kind of flipped the script of the end of the season, at least, because it was a bit of a tough stretch there. You come up, and I mean, we're gonna call it the Crook burglar run soon, because you win the next 5 games in a row here, and then ultimately that game in Minnesota. We're not counting it as a loss, right? He didn't finish the game. We don't count that. But hey, those 5 games in a row, what did you think that the Sens were doing as a whole team that was able to allow for some extended success?
I think, I mean, I was only there for a snapshot of things, but I don't know, it felt like everybody was just playing free. Like, everybody was having a good time. I mean, winning makes people happy, right? So everybody was just having a good time. Everybody was playing free. Everybody was sticking to their roles, playing within themselves, kind of thing. And then in turn, Bellsy talks about it all the time. Like, if you play within yourself, like, there's going to be so much more success at a team standpoint. There's nobody going off on their own page, doing different things. So I think that it was kind of a result of that, to be honest.
Now, what about playing for Jacques Martin? Because I don't know if you're even old enough to really remember his first stint in Ottawa. It ended in 2004, but like, we grew up on Jacques Martin being the Sens head coach. So what was it like to play for a guy who probably had a little bit of a different view of the game than these new school guys? Not to discuss any of the former coaches, but just the change to have a guy with that much experience behind the bench.
Yeah, it was an adjustment to kind of not figure out, but how calm he is on the bench. Like, he's just such a steadying presence behind the bench. So it's interesting from any other coach I've ever kind of had, because normally, as much as a calm coach, there might be a calm coach, there's still times where they're shouting, they're yelling instructions, that sort of stuff. But like, with Jacques, he was very calm, and you know what, he was very good with me. I remember when we were in Winnipeg, he pulled me aside and just kind of like talked about like certain things, like, hey, I like I like what you're doing here, but like, when you're doing this, okay, keep in mind that you have these other couple responsibilities. So like, he was very positive and kind of helping me along and making sure that, I don't know, I'm comfortable, and he, like, that I know I'm doing the right things, and just kind of help me with different points along the way.
That's awesome. I love that insight, and I'm just looking it up right now. If you had to guess, let's put Crooker on the trivia Barstool. Pilsy hates when I do this to him. How many NHL games do you think Jacques Martin's coached?
NHL games.
I
As
don't
a
even
head
know
or
this
as
answer.
a head?
As a head coach. It's an unbelievable number. I'll give you a hint. He's 16th all time in games coached. Where would he rank among players?
I want to say like 1,100.
That's what I was going to guess.
So much more, boys. 1,350 NHL games.
Wow. That's ridiculous.
That's incredible. And the guy who was on his left played in 1,100 games, Daniel Alfredson. What was it like having him in the mix on a daily basis?
That was kind of a starstruck moment for me. I mean, I grew up watching Daniel Alfredson. Like whenever I went to a Canucks game and the Canucks were playing the Sens, Daniel Alfredson, that was the guy to watch on Ottawa, which was really kind of cool. Actually, I got a funny story. So we had video one day, and some days with video you kind of break up into groups of 5. So like it was me, G, Timmy, and I want to say it was Shabby and Chicky in kind of the video room, and everybody kind of just dispersed to different areas around the rink. And I'm in there, and Alfie was running our individual video session. Okay, so you got Timmy, one of the best players in the league. You got G, an absolute stud. You got Alfie running the video. You got Shabby, Chicky, and then you have myself with all 10 of my NHL games.
You're the extra attacker on that 6-man unit.
Yeah, okay. But anyways, we're going through the video, just breaking down like kind of our shifts and like the D shifts and that sort of stuff, and kind of giving insights. And G's giving insights, Alfie, like everybody's kind of chipping in with stuff. I'm like, I'm not saying a damn word here. Like last thing I need is those 5 eyeballs staring at me, and I blurt out something stupid or wrong. Like, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine that embarrassment. Anyways, at the end of our video session, like, I was like, okay, that was great, boys. Crooker, thanks for chiming in. Appreciate it. I'm like, dude, everybody's laughing, so it's like, it's not serious or anything like that. But he was funny. Like he helped me a lot with kind of just figuring out kind of stuff in the ozone at the NHL level, because at every level you got to realize like certain things work, certain things don't work, what translates, what doesn't translate. And he was just kind of helping me through that stuff. It was actually, he and I had a good chat right before the game in Minnesota, which was really, really insightful. And I thought I was having a good game up until that point. So yeah, no, it was pretty damn cool to have him as kind of the forwards coach and kind of giving you tips and pointers on the bench.
Yeah, hey, nothing wrong with just knowing when to listen. My grandfather told me, it's something I always remember. A smart man talks, but a wise man listens. So that's a wise move there, Crooker. When you're in a room with all those people, just take it all in. Don't say anything.
If I was a wise man, I would have said that exact turn of phrase, but I'm not.
Well, now you have it. Now you have it. Now you're wiser for it.
Yeah, there we go.
Hope you're enjoying our chat with Crooker. We'll get right back to it. But first, Pilsy's got a word from our friends with eBay Motors.
Passion, drive, and patience. That's what brings home the winning trophy, but it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and even level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and so much more. So, whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you're always going to find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or you get your money back. It's that simple. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not burning cash. With all the parts you need, but at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that W. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Check it out today, guys. eBay Motors.
All right, let's get back to our conversation with Angus Crookshank.
So it's cool that you had the opportunity to get called up twice in 1 year, because probably, like you mentioned, they're two very different experiences the first time compared to the second time. I'm looking at your game log here, Crooker, and right before you get called up for the second time, you're on a 7-game point streak. What's the conversation like when you get sent back down? And then is it kind of like, okay, we need you to do this, this, and this, and then you're going to get another shot? Or it's like you got to wait for a spot to open up? Like, what was the communication there after you went back down to Belleville?
After the first call up?
After the first call up, yeah.
To be honest, it was pretty, there wasn't really any specific, info. We were on the road between Edmonton and Calgary. Steve had called me and Yuri aside, like, because we were scratching the Edmonton game. Yep. Like, hey, like, you guys are gonna go back down, because I believe Joe was coming back on and someone else was coming back on, so like the cap space wouldn't work at that time. And that's just, I don't know, I think that was just kind of nature of the beast, like business side of things. I didn't get any specific kind of feedback or anything like that. But I mean, the thing for me is always like, I mean, Belsey and I talked about as soon as I came back down, like for me to be an everyday NHLer, like I need to, like, the role I play in Belleville is not the role I'll play in the NHL.
Right.
And it doesn't take an idiot to figure that out. So when I am in Belleville, as much as I love playing that role there, I got to be mindful, okay, like what's going to really get me to the NHL here? Like, it's going to be being responsible defensively, getting the puck out, being reliable in any sort of kind of situation. I can be out. I'm just trusted in any situation, whether it's last minute of a period, extra attacker, whatever it may be. And I mean, kind of a side note, but like a goal of mine is to really like get dialed on the penalty kill this year. So just kind of figuring out, okay, while as much as I'm fortunate enough where I can play a good role in Belleville, I realize I need to develop all these other things to make me an everyday NHLer. And that, I mean, to your point, Ross, that's where everybody wants to be. And I mean, all that matters to me is giving my best shot to be that everyday NHLer, and I don't know, try to achieve my dream full time versus just kind of a snapshot of things.
Well, I can only imagine that it just makes you that much hungrier when you've flown on the charters and get to stay in the 5-star hotels and play in these packed National Hockey League rinks. Heck, your first ever game, you're going through Vegas, where we know the visiting tunnels just all mirrors. Like, that had to be an intimidating moment. Like, does that not just drive you? Were you only skating 5 to 7 times last summer, and now it's 6 to 9, or what?
Yeah, I mean, Vegas was crazy. I mean, that was still a blur. I don't think I took in the whole mirrors thing. I was just so.
It's crazy. The video that they posted with your family at the warm-ups, like right on the glass, it was all
amazing. It was amazing. I did not expect them to do that at all. Like, I don't know, when I saw, his name's Ben, he was kind of the video guy, and he was following me around, and like, I don't know what to do here. Like, is this just standard procedure? Like, he was following me around legit everywhere I went.
The main character, Crooker.
Well, everyone wanted to see Crooker's pregame routine.
Yeah.
That's a full feature-length film, though. I don't know if they got time for that.
That's going to be a Christopher Nolan movie in theaters or something like that.
Black and white.
Yeah, exactly. But it was really cool. I didn't expect them to do that, and it meant a lot to my family that they were able to do that video, which was pretty cool.
Totally. And then last time I think we pulled it up, it was in the meeting room in Belleville, right? Didn't you get a big plaque with the puck and all that from it?
Yeah. So they after every kind of milestone for a guy, like, so after your first game, your first goal, whatever it is, you get the puck and the plaque has like the picture or the game sheet on the back and everything. So I got both of those at the same time, which was pretty cool. I hung those up in at my parents' place in Vernon, in my room there.
Oh,
nice.
Dude, that's so awesome. Well, Crooker, one thing we know for sure is you're going to come into camp giving yourself the best opportunity. It's awesome to see that you're dialed in this early on. When are you making the trip to Ottawa?
Had known on the 31st.
Okay.
Had known on the 31st. Little early, but I don't know, just to kind of want to get acclimated, get comfortable, and try to put my best foot forward.
The old Brook Street again, eh?
Well, thankfully, Jake Sanderson's letting me stay at his place.
All right.
Nice.
So I was going to say, they've got to have like the Crookshank suite at this point at the Brook Street.
No. I mean, I have certainly put in my time at the Brook Street. Everybody has, but I mean, thankfully, Sandy's let me crash at his place, which is nice.
Nice. Who are the other guys that you were able to maybe not vibe with, but guys who have stayed in touch with from the big club over the off season?
Sandy for sure, Pence, Doc. I mean, I was going to say Kells, but I guess Kells with Colorado now. And then
Kells kind of gives you the blueprint to be an NHLer, right? Like you were telling us that a couple of years ago, like stylistically, like you just want to be in everybody's face. Are you going to be our next shift disturber or what?
I'll try to be whatever I can do to just stay in the league, man.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, to be honest, those are kind of the guys I was close with, or I went to dinners with the most. Rids as well.
But he's not a college kid, so he's got to be on the outside, eh? You guys stick together?
No, I'll give him credit. He's a relatively smart farmhand.
He's blue collar, eh? He's a blue collar guy.
Yeah, except when he drives his Range Rover to the rink every day.
Stop it. He's driving a Range?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Come on. Who's got the best car on the team? Final question for me. We're leaving with some hard-hitting journalism.
The best, okay, I'll give you two. So best car in Belleville is Levi Merrilainen.
Stop. What is he driving around the Bay of Quinte?
He's driving a BMW X3M.
Okay.
Nice.
That's got some pickup in it.
That baby just purrs. And then in Ottawa,
well, we saw Batherson's Corvette. Does he bring the Corvette from out east to Ottawa or no?
I didn't see the Corvette.
Okay.
I want to say there's a couple guys that have some G-Wagons that are pretty snazzy.
I feel like that's classic hockey guy, the G-Wagon.
You're an F-150 guy though, right, Crooker?
It's not I'm more of a kind of a Chevy Silverado, like long bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're definitely 5'11" in that thing.
Oh yeah. That's rounding me up to 5'11".
Yeah. There you go, Pills. You got any final ones for him?
I don't think I could top that. That's a good way to end it.
Yeah, that's like me asking Pillsy after every show. I go, "Hey, final thoughts on today's show?" He goes, "Damn, we're doing this again." It's like, yeah, only for the 1100th time, dude. You ready?
I'm never prepped for final thoughts. I don't have a whole lot of thoughts up in here. My final thought is smart man talks, but a wise man listens. So I'll just listen here.
Okay, well,
it's
like
one of
we're
those
listening.
Coaches that like when the head coach like, hey, such and such, you got anything to add? Nope, we're good. The assistant coach never has anything to add after a head coach speech.
No, they don't want to one up them or go a different direction, right? Strategically,
no, can't have that.
That's so good. Well, you can't up this, man. We always appreciate your insight, Crooker. You got two big fans in us, and we're really looking forward to what's coming this season for you and the team. And get safe drive or safe travels to Ottawa, and we'll do this again down the road.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it as always. Had a ton of fun.
Stick taps to Crooker for joining us. Really fun conversation with him. We wish him the best of luck as he gets ready to push for a full-time gig with the Ottawa Senators. All right, Pills, any final thoughts on today's show?
Yes, Ross. Final thoughts for me is a bittersweet announcement we saw on Twitter. Our hashtag friend of the show and Sens play-by-play, John Abbott, has moved on and he's going out west with the Calgary Flames with Sportsnet. It's unfortunate because the Ottawa Senators lose an amazing broadcaster. We've always loved when Abs is the one calling the game, especially with Noodles as his color commentator. Ultimate Sens duo, but we do wish John the best as he moves on, and we're going to get him back on the show when the Sens play the Flames for sure.
We will, and that's November 26th. But Pillsy, like Abs is a guy that's a better guy than broadcaster, as good as he is on the mic. It just felt like he was able to connect with the listeners, and it's almost unfortunate because that full-time Ottawa gig's got to be a tough one to get. You've got Gord Miller with TSN, and then your radio team has been locked in since day one. Dean and Gord ain't moving out of their seats for anybody. And I think that this is a great opportunity for him. He's going to be the full-time Sportsnet play-by-play voice for the Calgary Flames. So we're going to be following along. Obviously, it's sad news for us as a guy who we love chatting with, but hey, you won't be a stranger on the show. So we'll be in touch with Abs down the road, but just wanted to congratulate him on such a huge, really life-changing decision to pick up the family and move to Calgary, Alberta, where I'm sure the fans will fall in love with him there pretty quickly. He calls a great game, and we'll miss him with the Ottawa Senators broadcast. All right, great show today. Thanks for Crooker for joining us. We've got a fun citizen coming up on Wednesday. It's been a while since we had a Newfie on the show, so we're going out to Newfoundland for that on Wednesday, and then we'll get another Ring of Honor on Friday. And Pillsy, it's our show. You win the first one, I win the second one. It's our show. Can't come into our house and beat us at our game.
It's what we do, but a new Ring of Honor challenger is going to try to do just that.
Find out later this week. For today, we say goodbye. Thanks so much for watching, listening, engaging with the show on social media at Sens Central. It all goes a long way to helping the show grow. And please support us by supporting our sponsors. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast. Your team every day.